I would like us to look at John chapter 13 and draw out some characteristics of true servants. The first characteristic of a true servant is that he is inward looking. An inward look is sort of self-examination to see one's motives, to evaluate one's intentions, to evaluate one's attitudes. As a true servant, you need to have some moments of self-reflection. Inward look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I serving? Why do I want to serve others? You know, Jesus washing of his disciples' feet was a humble act of servanthood, and it was mainly, it was motivated by nothing but love. Verse 1 of chapter 13 of John. It was just before the Passover feast. Jesus knew that the time had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he now showed them the full extent of his love. That last part of verse 1. Having loved his own who were in the world, he now showed them the full extent of his love. Jesus was motivated by love to serve his disciples, to wash their feet. He was motivated by love. Looking at Jesus, an inward look at Jesus showed that he was not moved by popularity or prestige. Let me do this so that I'll be popular. Let me do this so that I'll be famous. Let me do this so that I'll gain mileage. No, he was just moved by love. And friends, true servants have an inward look to examine their motive for serving God and for serving those around them. True servants are motivated by love. They are not motivated by anything other than love. An inward look and self-examination will enable us to see the motive for our service. It is love again that motivated Jesus to serve. And as true believers, we are supposed to serve one another, but we can't do it unless we are moved, inspired, and motivated by love. Some people are motivated to serve because of the recognition they are hoping to have. Some are motivated to serve because of the praise they are hoping to receive from people. Some are motivated to serve because of the prestige. Some are motivated to serve others because of self-gain. But these are wrong attitudes in serving. The right attitude should be love. Secondly, a true servant is outward looking. An outward look helps you not just to focus on the aspect of me, mine, myself, but to realize that other than me, myself, me, I, and myself, me, mine, and myself, there are other people around. An outward look helps you realize, other than my family, there are other families that need to be served. Other than my, neighborhood, there are other neighborhoods that need to be served. An outward look helps you to see beyond the curtain that limits you to just thinking about yourself. An outward look calls us to identify the needs around us and seek to meet them in a practical way. In other words, an outward look thinks beyond self and seeks to serve others, seeks the good of others. In John chapter 13, Jesus took the initiative of his own volition. He takes the initiative to serve. Look at verse 4 and 5. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He's not just thinking, oh, my feet. My feet are dusty. They need washing. He is actually having an outward look and realizing, oh, the disciples' feet need washing. He's not just thinking about himself, he's thinking about others. He takes the responsibility of washing the disciples' feet. He doesn't wait for a foot washing rally or conference, He doesn't wait for a foot washing prayer meeting to begin. He just goes ahead and does what is the right thing to do. He takes, initiative. True servants are outward looking and they take initiative to serve. They don't wait to be asked to do so. A true servant with an outward view meets people and asks himself, how can I serve these people? How can I use the skills God has given me? How can I use the talents and abilities God has given me to serve these people? How can I use what God has given me to add value to these people? That's a true servant with an outward, look, not just inward look. True servants to plow, as they have an outward look, they are ready to stoop low and meet people's needs. And my question to you today is, do you have an outward view of life? Are you seeking for opportunities to serve those around you? The last characteristic of a true servant has an upward look. An upward look seeks to focus on Christ as our example of servanthood. An upward look seeks to focus on God as the one who will reward us for our service and ministry to Him and to His people. Sometimes it's so easy to serve and expect compliments and expect to be thanked by people, and they will probably never thank you. But you still need to do it anyway, because it's a command. You are supposed to serve people. And when you have an upward look, you will not give up. You will keep doing what you are supposed to do, even if people don't recognize you, even if people do not appreciate you. You have an upward look, looking to God, looking to Christ as our example when it comes to service, and looking up to God as the one who will reward us for our service to Him and to His people. Verse 14 and 15. This is what the Bible says. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. An upward look focuses on what Jesus would have done in a given situation. I believe that if Jesus went into a messy situation, He would, clean it up. When He gets to meet the hungry people, He serves them by feeding them. When He meets the sick, He serves them by healing them. When He meets any messy situation, He changes it around. And as a servant, you need to look around and say, what would Jesus do? And an upward look will help you serve just as Christ would have served. He says, I have set you an example, verse 15, that you should do as I have done for you, that you should serve as I have served, that you should follow my example in servanthood, reaching out, serving others, meeting the needs of others, adding value in the lives of others. I have set an example that you should follow. Yes, as your Lord and teacher, I have done it. So, and verse 17 says, now that you know these things, You will be blessed if you do them. An upward look will help us focus on what Christ did and try to emulate his example in serving others. True servants focus on how Christ would have served and in turn serve others with the same zeal. They serve out of obedience to God, and they do things as unto the Lord. You know, upward-looking servants know that they cannot please everybody, all the times. They are not even concerned about winning favor, with people, because their focus is on God. They are not even concerned about being recognized or being appreciated. If they are recognized and appreciated, praise be to God. But their main concern, because they are upward looking, is to glorify God, is to emulate the example of Christ. People may criticize and not even appreciate them, but they keep serving, knowing that great is their reward in heaven. They are upward looking, and they know that whether they are appreciated here on earth or not, that their labor in the Lord is not in vain. They are so upward looking that they look forward to a time that they will get into the kingdom, and Christ will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." An upward look, friends, will help us to focus on God and see our service to him and to others as something that should just be enough without even recognition. In conclusion, I want to challenge you with the words of President John F. Kennedy. In 1961, during his inaugural address, President Kennedy said the following words. He said, "My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Today, I'm asking you, my fellow believers, ask not what others can do for you. Instead, ask, what can you do for others?